Are you ready for 2020 to be the year that you don't just set goals, but you actually achieve them? You actually accomplish them. If you are, then this video is for you. And if you haven't yet, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel so that you're notified every week when our new episode of Building the Brand comes out. Hey everybody, welcome back to Building the Brand, episode 6. I want to start off this week by asking you a question. Do you have an easy time setting goals, but a harder time achieving them? This has been kind of one of my personal kryptonites. I'm a futuristic thinker, and so it's really easy for me to see where things are going, but it's harder for me to know how my daily tasks today impact that goal. And so it's been easy to set goals. It's been easy to see where Story On could be, where it could be going, even where we're planning on going. But then when it comes to actually executing those plans, it's always really easy to do it for a little while and then it kind of falls apart. And so I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this, talking to people, learning more about how we can build a plan, not just that sounds good or looks good, but one in 2020 that we can actually achieve. And knowing how that plan breaks down to what we're doing each month, what we're doing each week, even what we're doing each day. And so in this video today, I wanted to share what we're doing and hope that it can be encouraging for you. And so for us in 2020, I do not know where we'll be in a year, but I do know what our goals are going to be for the first 12 weeks of 2020. And so what we're doing is we are setting up these 12-week goals, not a ton of them, probably 2 to 3 goals that we're going to focus on, so that I know whether or not my tasks every single day are contributing towards those goals. There's a ton more that we could be doing, but in this time of focusing and growing Story On, we have to be really solid on what our plan actually is. And so we're kind of breaking things down to where we'll have 2 to 3 goals that we're focusing on for the first 12 weeks of the year. And then with those goals, at the end of every single week, I'm gonna be scoring us. I'm gonna be scoring myself, and I'm gonna be scoring Story On how are we doing with those goals. Because each one of those goals is gonna be broken down into 5 to 7 tasks that we're doing to contribute to those goals. Some of those might be weekly tasks, some might even be monthly tasks, and some will be daily things that we're doing. And so I'll initially know, am I completing these 5 to 7 tasks that are gonna get us to these goals? And so at the end of each week, I'm gonna be putting together a scorecard so that we know whether or not we're actually executing on these goals. And that scorecard, or kind of that sheet that shows what our goals are and what we have to do each week to hit them, I'm gonna be reviewing that every single day. And this is gonna be helpful because I think some of you will be able to relate to this. As a business owner, it's easy to set goals, but then we kind of lose our way once we get into the dirt and into the weeds of the actual business. We forget what our why is at times. We forget what we're working towards. And so this one sheet, I will have all of our goals and everything we're working towards on one piece of paper, and it won't be abnormally small font. It'll be normal size because I need to be able to remember it. I need to be able to digest it. And that's where I'm gonna start my day. Every single morning, I'm gonna start my day looking at those goals, looking at the weekly tasks so that I'm not forgetting it. And so this kind of curve that we go through, I've heard some people say that, after you set goals, there's always gonna be what's called uninformed optimism. You don't have a reason to be excited, but you're excited. And then what that turns into informed pessimism, where you start to realize this is really hard. And most people quit at that point, and then we start that cycle over of setting goals again. But when we actually create lasting change and when we achieve our goals, we push through that uninformed pessimism into what's called informed optimism. And that's where we're actually seeing the results. We're starting to see some things change. We're seeing the fruit of our labor. We're seeing that, there's reward to executing day in and day out. And that's when transformation actually begins to happen. And so we have our goals for these 12 weeks. How does this apply to you? I just encourage you to go into 2020 absolutely setting goals. Be clear on what you want to accomplish, but also don't bite off more than you can handle. Maybe think about it not in the whole year. Maybe don't think about all 12 months at a time, but cut those tasks and those goals down into several week or 12-week increments. And I think that it will be more and more helpful for you if you're like us, where you've had a hard time executing and staying in tune with those goals. I hope this is helpful for you, because if you're anything like me, setting goals is not hard. I actually think that my brain gets a little bit high from like setting goals and writing down what I want to achieve because of how I'm wired. Like, it's something that comes really natural to me. But I want you to join with us as we work harder, not just on setting good goals, but on executing them and on breaking those down into what do we have to do today to contribute to these goals that are supporting the vision and mission of our business. I would love to know what you are doing to achieve your goals in 2020. And as we head into the new year, or maybe by the time you're watching this, it will be the new year, but what are you doing to make sure that you're not just setting goals, but you're achieving them? We'll see you next week on Building the Brand.